Number 10. The automatic pet feeder that replaced human guilt. Some inventions were born from genius. This one was born from someone who didn't want to wake up at 6 a.m. to feed a cat that screams like a smoke alarm. The automatic pet feeder arrived as the perfect compromise. I love you, but not enough to get out of bed. It dispenses food on schedule, pretending to be responsible so the owner doesn't have to. The funniest part, pets now respect the machine more than the human who bought it. They glare at their owners like underpaid staff while worshipping the dispenser as their metallic overlord. The climax happens when the machine malfunctions and dumps an entire week's worth of food at once, turning the kitchen into a feline buffet that would make Vegas jealous. In the end, it proves one thing: technology has officially replaced human effort. And probably human dignity. Anyway, let's descend to number 9, where laziness gets even more creative. Number 9. The sock slider for those who refuse to bend. Yes, the sock slider, humanity's proud declaration that bending slightly forward is now considered too much cardio, marketed as a mobility aid. This device gained popularity among people whose primary physical limitation is simply not wanting to try. You place the sock on the cradle, slide your foot in, and voila! Zero bending, zero effort, zero pride. Inventors claimed it would revolutionize daily living, which it did. For anyone living in a world where socks are terrifying obstacles, the darkest moment. Watching someone demonstrate it with the seriousness of a life-saving medical breakthrough. Meanwhile, their dog stares silently, probably questioning evolution. And if the sock goes on crooked, good luck, it's easier to move to a new city than fix it. Still, this invention teaches a valuable lesson. If there's even a 2% chance of avoiding physical movement, someone will patent the solution. Now let's move to number 8, where laziness becomes a lifestyle. Number 8. The motorized ice cream cone spinner. This one screams, why rotate your wrist when a motor can do it for you? A tiny machine that spins your ice cream so your tongue doesn't have to chase it. Essentially, it's a lazy person's tribute to mechanical engineering. The device promises consistent licking, a phrase that already tells you too much while saving you from the tragic burden of dessert management. The real comedy happens when the rotation speed is a little too ambitious, launching ice cream like a dairy comet across someone's face. Kids love it. Adults pretend they bought it for kids. And the inventor probably laughs every day knowing humans willingly replaced a basic instinct with a battery-operated toy. The overall message: even indulgence must now be optimized. And trust me, number 7 dives even deeper into the abyss of effortless existence. Number 7. The self-stirring mug. For the terminally exhausted, stirring coffee should take 3 seconds. But for some people, those seconds are unbearable. Enter the self-stirring mug, a cup with a motorized vortex designed for those whose arms are simply on break. You pour coffee, press a button, and watch the mug swirl like it's auditioning for a low-budget sci-fi movie. The funniest scene occurs when someone forgets the lid, hits the button, and paints the room with caffeinated chaos. No spoons needed, no thinking required, and clearly no awareness of how ridiculous it looks. The mug whispers, "Don't worry, I'll do the work." You just exist. It's a tiny monument to modern burnout and laziness mixed together. But trust me, number 6 is where laziness becomes an art form. 6. The couch-to-fridge grabber tool. Number 6. The couch-to-fridge grabber tool is the invention that finally admitted what everyone secretly knew: standing up is wildly overrated. Built like a mechanical dinosaur arm, it lets users pluck snacks from the fridge without lifting more than a single apathetic finger. With each click, it stretches outward like a lazy superhero whose only power is retrieving cold pizza. The real spectacle happens when the grabber slips and launches a soda can into orbit, turning the living room into a reenactment of a low-budget action film. People claim they bought it for efficiency, but deep down, it's a trophy proof that convenience always wins over pride. It transforms kitchens into distant planets and couches into command centers, where humans rule without moving anything but their wrists. By the time someone learns to open a bag of chips using only the tool, they've reached enlightenment or at least a new level of laziness. And this invention sets the stage perfectly for number 5, where technology begins to replace not just effort, but basic responsibility. 5. The smart trash can that opens itself. The smart trash can represents humanity's decisive break from physical contact. A simple wave activates its sensor, causing the lid to rise dramatically as if greeting royalty. It's elegant, futuristic, and completely unnecessary, which is precisely why people love it. But this mechanical butler has a wild side. Sometimes it opens unprovoked, startling guests like an overeager dog desperate for attention. Other times it refuses to open at all, forcing its owner into a humiliating dance of frantic hand gestures, begging the machine to acknowledge their existence. The chaos peaks when it misreads movement and snaps shut mid-disposal, launching garbage back at the user like a slap from a disappointed parent. It's a relationship built on mutual distrust, yet humans keep buying it because anything is better than lifting a lid. This invention proves that dignity has a price and it's powered by AA batteries. And just when you think laziness can't get pettier, number 4 arrives with a utensil that thinks it knows you better than you know yourself. 4. The Bluetooth fork that judges your eating habits. This Bluetooth-enabled fork doesn't just monitor your eating speed, it interrogates your life choices. Every bite is counted, timed, and quietly judged. If you eat too fast, the fork vibrates disapprovingly like a passive-aggressive nutritionist trapped inside a utensil. Suddenly, meals become timed performances, with users taking dainty, exaggerated bites to avoid being scolded by their silverware. The climax comes when someone attempts to sneak a rapid-fire bite, only for the fork to buzz violently, exposing their feral instincts to the entire table. It syncs with an app that charts your progress, which is ironic since most people buy it just to avoid thinking about discipline. The fork becomes a tiny tyrant, reminding you that even your eating habits can be outsourced to Bluetooth-connected shame. Yet people continue to use it, convinced that technology will fix what willpower won't. But if you think judgment from a fork is strange, wait until number 3 introduces a robot that handles emergencies no one should have outsourced. 3. The remote-controlled toilet paper robot. This invention proudly announces that reaching for toilet paper is simply beneath modern humans. Shaped like a tiny but loyal rover, it wheels across the bathroom floor to deliver toilet paper with the ceremonial seriousness of a royal messenger. When it works, it's oddly majestic, but when it malfunctions, that's when the comedy begins. The robot may spin in confused circles, crash into walls, or stop just out of reach, forcing the user into a desperate negotiation with a machine that truly has no stakes in the conversation. Its remote control only adds to the chaos because nothing says advanced civilization like steering a toilet paper delivery robot while trapped in silence and regret. The moment it finally arrives feels less like convenience and more like surviving a psychological thriller. And yet, people adore it because laziness doesn't just demand solutions, it demands dramatic ones. But if you think this is the height of absurdity, number 2 proves humans can even outsource their sense of tiredness. The smart pillow that tells you when to sleep. Imagine outsourcing your own exhaustion. That's the promise of the smart pillow, a device that monitors your breathing, movement, and restlessness to decide the exact moment you should surrender to unconsciousness. It vibrates gently, nudging you toward sleep like an overbearing guardian angel who has read too many wellness blogs. The unsettling part is how accurate it becomes. People begin relying on it more than their own instincts, waiting for the pillow's sacred approval before closing their eyes. Sometimes it decides you're not ready and buzzes until you adjust, turning bedtime into a negotiation between human and cushion. The climax arrives when someone insists they're not tired, only for the pillow to contradict them with data, effectively winning an argument against its owner. At this point, humanity isn't just lazy, it's obedient. But even this level of dependency cannot compare to number 1, where laziness becomes a full-blown ideology. 1. The automated thinking assistant. Here it is. The final triumph of laziness, a device created specifically so users never have to think again. It answers questions, forms opinions, generates ideas, and occasionally gives better advice than the human asking for it. People use it for everything: choosing outfits, drafting texts, settling arguments they were too tired to finish. The bizarre moment comes when someone starts outsourcing decisions like, what should my personality be today? Or how do I feel about this topic? The assistant becomes both brain and conscience, while the human becomes more like a mildly interested spectator in their own life. Watching someone debate with it is pure existential comedy because they're essentially arguing with the outsourced version of their own thoughts. And yes, it's convenient, terrifyingly so. This invention doesn't just reflect laziness, it celebrates it as the future of humanity. After all, why think when a machine can think harder, faster, and with far fewer emotional breakdowns?